Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are looking at the MLB picks for today. 10-game slate on Sunday, starting at 1 o'clock as usual for Sundays. Got NBA starting as well. So I posted the video for that. Check it out if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and go through these MLB picks. Definitely wanted to make a video for this big slate today. Hit the like button before we get started. Subscribe. Check out all the socials and links down below. And let's go ahead and get started. Looking at the lineups and the totals today. The Yankees going up against the Orioles in Camden Yards. They look appealing. Going up against a lefty and Bruce Zimmerman, so right off the bat, you should have some interest in Giancarlo Stanton, to say the least. Some interest in Donaldson, depending on if they give Judge the day off or not. But definitely Hicks at 31. He's been playing pretty well so far. And at that price tag, he definitely looks appealing. Don't have much interest in the offenses from this second game. I would look to Nelson Cruz, just because he's always good against lefties. And Quintana has really struggled since his days from the Cubs. Third game, we have a couple of appealing teams to target. I think the Twins look pretty appealing against Michael Wacha, a guy that does give up a lot of walks. We probably only have one start for him, but he did give up 3 walks in 4 innings. So, and that's always been a kind of a struggle for him. So if he can get some of these guys on base, just give more opportunities for RBIs for this middle part of the order. So I'm looking at definitely Buxton if you're looking to pay up for anybody, but Luis Arraez at only $2,400 batting second looks appealing. Definitely Max Kepler. If you get Gary Sanchez 25 with a lot of power, Larnick min-price, Sano super cheap. So in terms of just a cheap stack, the Twins give you a lot of upside. The Red Sox bats are a lot more expensive, just looking at the average team's price tags, but you still look to Devers gives you a ton of upside. Verdugo looks awesome, but I'm have more interest in the Twins just based on their price tags. I do want to pay up for some good pitchers today. Speaking of the first pitcher, you have Alek Manoah, awesome strikeout pitcher. Lots of good stuff for him. This A's team has been pretty surprising this year in terms of just having a lot of hitters hit the ball well. I don't know how much longer that will continue, but they've been getting a ton of home runs so far, and that has been surprising after they traded away most of their best hitters during the offseason. Giants against the Indians, you have some interest in. Alex Wood as a pitcher, don't have much interest in the bats on either side in this one. Straw as just a one-off against a lefty, or Reyes against a lefty, look fine. Phillies, not a great ballpark to hit in, so I would have interest in Zach Wheeler making a second start. In terms of the Phillies bats, you have a lot of guys, super expensive, not the highest total, not something I'm too interested in. Maybe Camargo as a value, $2,100 play, or the catcher, maybe, or maybe like Bryson Stott. The Mets offense at home, they've been playing well. Diamondbacks don't have a good pitching staff. They don't have a good bullpen. Their bats are also pretty expensive, but I'd look to maybe like McNeil batting leadoff at his price tag. You can go JD Davis as a value, $3,000 if you're looking to pay it for anybody. Lindor's been pretty well so far this year, but there's a lot of good plays at shortstop. It's always one of the deepest positions. You can maybe target some of these Rays bats against Velasquez. We know from his days as a Philly, he does give up a lot of power, and some of these games, he's just going to have blow-ups where he gives up 6 or 7 earned runs in a couple of innings. Brewers, Cardinals, you have 2 below-average pitchers here. Hudson is okay. Aaron Ashby is all right, but it's definitely not something I'm going to be looking at going up against this righty-heavy and powerful Cardinals lineup. All of these guys mash left-handed pitching, especially Goldschmidt, Arenado, who's been awesome this year. Those will be the 2 that I start with. If I'm stacking this team, followed by O'Neill, Carlson, bottom of the order, look to Bader. And I will probably get maybe a postpone in the Royals game, or definitely some risk there. So don't have much interest in that game. Going back to DraftKings here. First guy I'm going to start with, that pitcher. Looking to pay up for pitcher, we have some value, especially with the twin stack. So Zach Wheeler, Manoah, pay for the top 2 pitchers for me today. Still leaves you at $3,700 for your bats, which is fine. First start for Zach Wheeler, he only threw 65 pitches, but that was because he didn't get a full workload in spring training. He was dealing with, they said, a sickness, so he was shut down for over a week and wasn't throwing. So in his second start, wouldn't be surprised if this goes over 75, maybe closer to 80. But he looked fine against the Mets here. Just gave up 1 home run, which kind of hurt him, and only gave up 2 hits in 4.2 innings. But we know it gives you a lot of strikeout upside, especially against this Miami team with a lot of strikeout hitters in this lineup. And then Alek Manoah. The Blue Jays have a good pitching staff. Hopefully, Ryu can kind of step up. He's been getting blown up so far. But Manoah pitched almost 90 pitches in a very tough matchup against the Yankees. He just gives you a lot of upside. He's one of their top prospects in the pitching. And getting a full season as a starting pitcher will do him wonders until teams maybe start to figure him out a little bit. But for the first month or so, he definitely has a big advantage there. Looking at other options for us to target at pitcher, if you're looking for a more of a mid-range balanced approach, you can go to Nestor Cortez from the Yankees at $8,200. Maybe take a shot on like Quintana at $75, but definitely something I'm not too interested in. And then bottom of the order, you have, or bottom of the position, you have Patrick Corbin, $65. He had a good first start, bad second start. Something we'll probably see out of him a lot. And that's kind of it. Don't have much interest, really. There's not too many good pitchers on this slate, minus the top 3 or so. Catcher, I like Gary Sanchez at $25. I'm going for a value. Otherwise, you'll probably get a lot of these teams playing like a backup catcher on Sunday if their regular catcher caught Saturday night. So you could get some value at the bottom here in the like $2K to $2,500 range. So probably won't pay off for any of these top dogs, especially with some rain concerns in KC. Not the best matchup. I mean, the ballpark for Real Muto. They probably might not even play today. They could give him the day off, or unless he wants to DH. First base, a lot of good options to pick from. Goldschmidt has been kind of cold so far, to say the least. Only 4 hits. Only struck out 5 times, so at least he's putting the ball in play. But I'm going with Vlad here. At home, they have the highest total on the slate. He just gives you so much upside. Coming off of a no-hit game last time out against the A's. I think he might bounce back today. It can be hit or miss at times, like the games that he hasn't done well. Sometimes he just gets you a bagel, which would not be nice at this price tag. But the matchup is solid. In Oakland, they have been playing pretty surprisingly well, but they still give up runs. We saw them give up a lot of home runs yesterday. They did trade away a lot of their relievers, and they don't have a great pitching staff right now, just with that fire sale they did in the offseason. Second base, your pay-up is Chisholm Jr., but I'm not playing him against Zach Wheeler. You have Brandon Lau, looks good. And then you have Story, who's been struggling so far. We do have value here at second base with Luis Arraez at $2,400. Think that is something I'll just take advantage of. Not too many great pay-ups here. Shortstop is one that you can definitely look to pay up if you wanted to, just because there's so many good options. But I like Arraez. He doesn't give you a ton of power, but he's a guy that rarely ever strikes out. Only 2 strikeouts in 23 at-bats this year, looking back on his numbers over the last couple of years. Just puts the ball in play. That's why he bats near the top of the order. Lefty-righty matchup, and has been doing a lot of good things so far for them. Making contact, getting on base, scoring runs. Over at third base, your pay-up is going to be Devers. You have Jose Ramirez making an awesome case so far for the Guardians. He's just been leading them in every category. Average, home runs. Already has 15 RBIs. They've been surprising. Does get a good matchup, lefty-righty. I mean, he's a switch hitter, but so he always gets a platoon matchup. Hasn't had a stolen base yet, which is surprising considering how many times he gets on base. He does a guy that does like to steal, although he's not one that you think of. But maybe as a tournament play, not something you would look in cash games. Arenado looks good. Lefty, righty, he always mashes lefties. If you're looking at the Yankee stack, Josh Donaldson, 46. And then you can look to some value with like Matt Chapman, who's been hitting the ball well for the Blue Jays as of late. Shortstop, lots of good options to pick from at the top end. Lindor, 58. Anderson, not the best matchup, but he's still Tim Anderson and can go off with stolen bases, power, everything. Didi is really expensive at 47, not something I'm looking at too much. Rather go with like Correa at 4K if I'm looking to stack up the Twins a bit. You can get some more value here depending on like the Yankees lineup. Over in the outfield, your pay-up is Bryce Harper. Finally came alive last night. The Phillies offense made some good things happen in Miami with some hits, home runs. Harper struggling so far, but he's starting to maybe come alive as of late. I don't feel great about paying 62 for him in this matchup, though. They don't have a great total. The first guy I got to plug in, though, has to be Giancarlo Stanton at 45. Anytime he's facing off against a lefty, he gives you so much home run upside. And I don't know what the prop is for him to home run today, but I would take a look at it. Maybe do a double home run put a little bit on that. Especially in this ballpark, he just gives you so much upside with the power. Cruz at 41, also think you can look to him. But I'm going with another value piece here, and that's going to be another twin. That's going to be, you can look to Aaron Hicks. I like him a little bit too, but I like Max Kepler at his price tag, only $2,900. Gets a nice lefty-righty matchup. He gives you power. He's not been great so far this year, but he should come around. Only 5 strikeouts for him as well, so he's making contact. Gives you a little bit of speed, nothing crazy. But the wind blowing out a little bit, good matchup for some of these Twins bats. And that's about it for the DraftKings side. Let's go ahead and talk about FanDuel. So I plugged in the guys already. I'm looking at the same type of bats here. I like to cheer on for the same players. If I can, unless they're like priced super differently, then I look to go to some other options. But I like Vlad. Luis Arraez is cheap. Stanton, one of my favorite hitters today. And then Kepler at his price tag looks reasonable on both sites. Other options at pitcher you can look to are Alek Manoah at $10K. Only $200 difference between Wheeler and him, so you can go down to him if you wanted to. And those would be the two that I'm considering. I'm not looking at anybody else when you have a lot of value at these other spots. You know, we still have over $2,700 left for the last few spots, even plugging in Vlad and Stan and our big bats here. First base, the Angels stack on FanDuel looks decent as well. They're not available on DraftKings. They have a 10-game slate. FanDuel has 11 games. So you can definitely look to these Angels like Jared Walsh. Texas has given up some power as of late, and the ballpark is a lot better hidden than it was. Second base, Simeon, lefty-righty matchup there, I believe. I still like Arraez given his matchup, and then you can go to some value if you wanted to with like Polanco 33, Jeff McNeil batting leadoff. Third base, I like Matt Chapman. I like going up to Arenado. If I can, they just have a lot of power and upside at third base with a lot of these guys near the top. Rendon's been coming alive a little bit as of late, so he looks fine. And then Witt is still super cheap, but that game might be... His price tag's come up a little bit on FanDuel. That game could get postponed. Shortstop, I like Bo Bichette, 39. If I had to pick anybody, just given the matchup. I like Simeon as well. Two guys that have been struggling so far this year, but they should definitely come around. And then value-wise, Polanco, maybe Corey Seager at 33. And you do have a very cheap Gleyber Torres if he's in the lineup at $2,500 or $2,400. And then in the outfield, Stanton, Kepler, looking at the Yankees and the Twins bats to really get me going in the outfield. And then I look to like Shohei's come alive recently after getting off to a cold start. Saw that funny video of him performing CPR on his bat, and then he's followed it up by 3 home runs and hitting the ball really hard recently. So definitely somebody that you can look to if you wanted to pay up for anybody. And then otherwise, you're looking at Trout, cheaper than Ohtani. You're looking at Judge if he's in the lineup, but I do like Stan a little bit more at his price tag. 3K range, looking at some of these Red Sox bats like Verdugo, Hernandez. And then below 3K range, you have Nelson Cruz at 31. And then 2K range, just kind of looking at the teams I mentioned, like the Yankees, the Twins, the Angels. They're my favorite stacks today. And then we'll see, depending on some one-offs, depending on where some of these guys hit in the batting order. But that is about it for the video. Best of luck today. Also do like Aaron Hicks, Joe Adele at their price tags. We need some value. But that's all for the video. Best of luck, and I will see you all next time.